Okay, I got a fun real-time edit here with this least tern chick. This is in a colony of least terns and black skimmers. And so, as you can see, early morning sun, shooting right into the sun, getting this beautiful rim light around it. So I'm going to go lighter with the exposure, kick the shadows up a little bit, and then let's crank the contrast to get this a little bit more detail in that. And if anything, I can use some dehaze. I don't want to go too much because I do like the lens flare on this. It went a little green to me and a little bit too yellow, so I'm just going to back off the white balance on these. Just kind of shift it this way a little bit more magenta, and then maybe just back off the saturation a tiny bit. And something like that seems like a pretty good starting point, I would say. Yeah, I think this is good. I don't see any other adjustments that really need to be done in Lightroom. I think the rest can be done in Photoshop, so let's jump over there. All right, lens flare I like, but this lens flare spot, not so much. So just kind of clone that out real quick on a retouch layer here. A little smudge up in the top right-hand corner. They have this area roped off, so this is probably an out of focus like pole that they have some rope attached to, and in fact I think that's kind of the out of focus string up there. So I'm just going to see if I can smooth those things out real quick. I'm just using the clone tool right now, real low opacity. I know the opacity says 100, but I am using my graphics tablet to control that opacity. So there's a weird vertical line there, and then maybe just this kind of light smudge right there. I'll just clean that up. All right, looking good. So next thing is I want to make the background darker than the bird, and really make the bird stand out. So something like that's probably a good starting point. And then I'm just going to come in here and mask out. Look at that little feather right on the beak. Hilarious. Yeah, I'm just going to mask out the beak and the bird entirely. So as I'm sure you could guess, right, trying to be precise around those rimlet feathers there, not so easy. So I'll show you how I do that in just 1 second. For now, I'm just going to get an outline around every area that is easy to paint in here. So just kind of the darker area, and I'm going halfway into that the fuzzy downy feathers, but not entirely. All right, so there we go. Let's fill that in, clean this up, and now I have a good starting selection. But now I need to get this this glow, so I'm going to use color range on that and just select a bunch of different tones in there. There we go. That should be pretty good for that. Make sure I'm here. Paint that with black. It probably isn't going to visually make a difference, but watch. Look at my selection, right? So watch as I go along the front here. Check that out. All perfect right on that right on those glowing feathers. Keep clicking the wrong spot there. There we go. So it works out really well to give me that perfect selection right around the edge. Oh, and we can get that little feather up there. I will kind of paint in there just a little bit more. All right, so now I have the bird totally isolated. Just clean up the selection a little bit more here. Make sure it's good because I'm going to save this selection so I can use it again in the future here for a couple things. All right, so let's save this, invert it. All right, there we go. Got the selection saved. Also, I now just noticed there's like a little twig kind of coming into the bird butt there. So we'll just clean that up. Something like that. I just use the healing brush to start out, and then I'll kind of fill in with some cloning. I'll fill in that little patch too. There we go. All right, so it looks great that I have the background darker, but so it makes the bird stand out, but now the bird looks all washed out. So not good. So I'm going to load up the selection, and then let's add some contrast into the bird here. And instead of going just straight darker, I'm going to go with the black point here, but then I'm maybe a little bit of darker, but then we'll lift up the highlight curve here just to see if we can maintain some of that contrast. So that's a little dark for my taste, so maybe something like that. And now notice that it's really saturating the colors in there, which isn't great. So I'm going to try just changing the blending mode to luminosity on that. All right, so that reduced the saturation. So look, there's normal, there's luminosity, but I actually like the normal, like the color that the normal blending mode gave. So I'll just leave that. Again, load the selection, and this time do a hue and saturation, and I'm just gonna desaturate a little bit, and then paint it in where I want it. So just paint in with some white and just do a little desaturation right there. I do like the fact that there was more orange on the beak there. See that? And it also kind of brings the blacks back down on that beak, which is really good. All right, now I'm going to do some overall burning. So again, I'm just going to load the selection and inverse it. So I have the everything but the chick selected. And now just do some selective kind of burning. I'm going to generally, that was too dark, generally leave this top light or top left lighter area there. So it kind of has some direction to the light, which is really nice because I kind of like that flare kicking in up there. And there, something like that looks pretty good. I will say the whites on the bird now are a little bit too saturated yellow, so I'm going to desaturate the yellows, load up that selection, and then watch, just paint some of that yellow. It's like just too much yellow out of just the bird itself to clean up the color on him. And wow, there we go. Just a couple of lighter spots over here. I'm just going to kind of burn those down a little bit, because my eye was just getting pulled over there, and then maybe this one right there, right? So now we have from that to that. So way more dramatic, a lot more how I envisioned the shot. Also a little bit more how it looked when I was there. So this lens flare on the front of the lens when the sun's hitting it just washes over the whole thing. So this is a little bit more of like what it should look like. Now, I do have an option of going even more detailed and light on this side of the bird, so I could do something like that and really bring up detail on the bird. And let's see how that looks. So I think I'm going to leave him a little bit darker and dramatic, but I could, as you see, show more detail. Yeah, and it doesn't actually fit. It's too light. That's too much light on this side of the bird. So the only other thing I can do is maybe just try and show his little eyeball there, or the catch light in it. Oops. So got to be real soft and subtle, and then I'll come back in and actually just fade that a little. Yeah, that doesn't look good. I'm going to toss it. There we go. We'll leave his eye dark. That's the edit right there. I'll save that, get it back into Lightroom, and compare that to the original. This is a photo that we're going to see a significant difference on. Let's see how long. So yeah, under 8 minutes on the edit there. So didn't have to spend a ton of time on it. But if we compare these two, we should see quite a significant difference. That's straight out of the camera. This is my final edit. Looks much better, and a nice dramatic rimlet shot. So thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in learning more about this style of editing and how I do all this editing, I know I go through these really quick. It's just to show you, what can be done. But if you want to learn step by step in a slower manner, hop on over to my website, rayhennessy.com. Go to the workshop section, online workshops. Check out the remote training session, and you can find out more about how that works and shoot me an email to sign up to do one of these sessions. Also, I have mentorships as well if you're interested in a little bit more ongoing learning. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoy these, guys. Listen, please, I've been getting really good feedback. Please feel free to comment on YouTube here or comment on my website if that's where you've seen it. Share these videos with your friends. I really want to get these going out and having more people see them because I'm getting a lot of great feedback. And so the more people watching and giving me feedback, the more motivation I have to do these. So thanks again, and have a great day.